What makes the 16 types uniquely attractive? ESTP. Adventurous initiation. ESTPs are initiators. This gives them the power to shake other people out of their potential boredom in life. The fantasy that people might have about someone randomly appearing in their life and taking them on an adventure is best embodied by ESTPs, who do exactly this. Naturally. There is an unmistakably instinctive and even primal approach that ESTPs have to pursuing what or who they want. When you add this tendency to their punchy self-confidence, vibe-changing energy, and movement-inducing forcefulness, then you have a recipe for someone who is undeniably impactful. ESTPs can roll into your life in a swashbuckling way and completely shake it up. They can also just as quickly vanish too, but we'll let them off with that one. ISTPs. Enigmatic coolness. If it is indeed possible to sit in the corner of a room and brood people into your orbit, ISTPs would be the type capable of such a feat. When you throw a sardonic sensibility, wicked wit, and a heap of laid-back chilled-out vibes into a pot and stir it, you'll end up with something that resembles an ISTP. They can be both intellectual, yet unpretentious, lounging and energetic, well-prepared and spontaneous, strangely aloof and mysterious, yet grounded and present. ISTPs are one of the hardest types to read. Yet this enigmatic nature draws people in, and if you're lucky, their coolness will rub off on you as well. INFJs. Calming presence. INFJs are often described as being confidants, people who are turned to for advice or when someone needs direction. It's said that a problem shared is a problem halved. And since INFJs are often the recipients of other people's problems, they offer that feeling of relief to others, thereby becoming deeply associated with that comforting and calming effect. More than this, INFJs tend to have a gentle aura to them. They're rarely going to be boisterous, in your face, or aggressive. They move at their own pace and take their time with things and people in a very measured way. So being around them is going to be more likely to calm you down than anything else. This is an extremely attractive trait indeed. ENFJ. Open-minded acceptance. Empathy is a trait often associated with ENFJs, and rightly so. But it's the consequence of this empathy that is most appealing to the people around them, namely, the acceptance the people in their lives are afforded. ENFJs can understand almost anyone, which is actually quite a scary trait in many ways, particularly when they have empathy or sympathy for people that others would naturally demonize and cast out. It can be a thankless mentality to have at times. Don't get me wrong, ENFJs have strong opinions and can be forcefully forthcoming with them. But ultimately, this doesn't get in the way of their acceptance of others. This makes for an excellent trait in relationships when balanced with boundaries and makes them uniquely attractive. ENTPs. Cat-killing curiosity. ENTPs are often portrayed as being ultra-creative, innovative, and inventive, which is certainly warranted, but much of this is driven by an underlying curiosity towards pretty much everything. However, it's not curiosity alone. It's the fact that they're willing to explore the darker or more taboo aspects of the world as well. This receptiveness to everything that life has to offer makes them very appealing. It also affords them their characteristic maverick and rule-breaking quality as well. They're willing to follow their inquisitive spirit down all manner of paths that others might consider to be inadvisable. Their ability to handle whatever unexpected things come their way, or sometimes to be the unexpected thing, makes them uniquely attractive. INTPs. Offbeat brilliance. If INTPs were simply intelligent, intellectual, or creative, then that wouldn't be particularly distinctive, not least because many types can claim those same traits in abundance. What distinguishes INTPs is the quirky and unconventional way in which they go about expressing these skills and talents. Although I don't know what type he is, let's use Yoda as an example. Specifically Yoda from the original trilogy. He's clearly brilliant, insightful, and wise, yet also kind of nuts. He's an eccentric as much as he is a sagely figure. It's combining both of those things at the same time that gives them their unique flavour. INTPs are often characters, and people who are memorable for their oddities as much as their brain power. ISFJs. Quiet power. ISFJs are socially subtle and graceful in a very grounded way. Them starting arguments or pulling the rug from underneath you is a rarity. You know exactly where you stand with them, and it's on firm ground. They are realistic and practical in their worldview. Because of this absence of abrasiveness or boisterousness, some people might perceive them as being pushovers, but that would be a big mistake. There is an inherent power to their approach to life, but more than that, precisely because they're not in a rush to brag about their achievements or big themselves up, other people underestimate them. That is ultimately the preference of ISFJs though. The under-the-radar position affords them the necessary time and space that they desire. ESFJs. Attentive warmth. ESFJs are endlessly buoyant people, bullishly optimistic, and eager to fill their lives with fun, cheer, and positive experiences. Those qualities alone are enough to make ESFJs attractive, but they manage to combine this with amazing attention to detail and attentiveness to the people they are interacting with. They make people feel seen, appreciated, cared for, and even protected in some sense. This ability to laser focus in on a person is really a superpower of theirs. There are other types who are equally adept at giving people amazing experiences, and types who give people that undivided attention, but ESFJs combine both, wrapped in a blanket of warmth and charm. They have the uncanny ability to make you feel like you've known them for a very long time, even if you've just met them. It's instant connection. ENTJs. Magnetic presence. I've mentioned in the past that ENTJs can be quite socially introverted, and this is true. If that's the case, then they can look a lot like INTJs. However, despite this potential social introversion, they are still people who have an unmistakable presence. Depending on the ENTJ in question, this can be physical or intellectual in nature, or a combination of both. In that sense, they're kind of a hybrid who can be equally comfortable in both areas. Equally comfortable at the gym, or wherever physical people go, in the halls of academia, or in the workplace. Sometimes they can be divisive, but that is often a risk that you run when being charismatic. They are rarely forgettable or fail to make an impact on the people around them. INTJs. Independent depth. Many types could rightly be described as independent thinkers, but INTJs combine their rationality with a highly intuitive and very individualistic nature. They're happy to discuss things in terms of logic, reason, and rationality, yet are equally okay with being driven by personal values about how they think things ought to be. This combination of attributes also means they're capable of a depth of introspection that other people typically aren't, or aren't willing to engage in. This is one of the reasons why INTJs are remarkable at self-appraisal or even self-criticism. When an INTJ is exploring a topic, they are willing to dig down to extraordinary depths with it. Being able to follow them, or more likely listen to them describe the depths they've explored, is certainly something that makes them attractive. ISFPs. Raw intensity. ISFPs can be artistic, expressive, even flamboyant, yet still remain grounded, unpretentious, and straightforward. They are quietly intense people who like to strip away lots of the nonsense in life. To be around an ISFP is to enjoy, embrace, and devour the simple pleasures of life. Since it's so easy to lose touch with these things, it's extremely revitalizing to experience. In fact, you could make the case that it's much more difficult in modern day life to stay in touch with those simple pleasures. So the raw intensity of ISFPs is a uniquely attractive feature of them. There is a clear simplicity in their mindset, and that's very appealing indeed. ESFP. Contagious energy. ESFPs are warm, sometimes to the point of being fiery. They are people who burn bright and accordingly become flames for many moths. They often have a strange star quality to them, regardless of any actual fame they might have. This, in combination with their straightforward and often blunt way of being, creates a fascinating duality. To be around an ESFP is to be energized and injected with the drug of life. When it comes to embracing the moment, they are masterful, and it's contagious. Actually, they are contagious. This effect can be astonishingly motivating to the people around them, and is something ESFPs do better than any other type. ENFP. Unfettered openness. We've all encountered people who are limited in their thinking, closed-minded, and shut off to anything that deviates from well-trodden notions and often stale conventions. It can be frustrating. Life can seem limited and lacking in something vital when seen through that lens. ENFPs are the remedy to this. Eternally open-minded and receptive to all aspects of life, no matter how weird and wacky they might be. This unbridled openness that they have takes the people in their life down new avenues and allows them to see life from a different angle. More than this, you can come to ENFPs with anything. And no matter how ridiculous it might seem to, normal people, to them, it will be treated with optimism and enthusiasm. INFPs. Effortless unconventionality. I've wondered whether, if a type is known for individuality, that it means there's a greater level of variety you will get within that type. Either way, one of the most attractive things about INFPs is that they are fluent in their own distinctive language, and it can be fun to learn that language with each INFP that you meet. If INFPs were a country, they'd be Madagascar, where a huge percentage of the species found there are endemic, i.e. not found anywhere else on Earth. The INFP type is similarly a haven for uniqueness. And it's the effortlessness with which they bring their own particular spirit into the world that makes them uniquely attractive. ISTJs. Rock-solid strength. The phrase cool, calm, and collected was invented to describe ISTJs. When a person is highly reactive, it can be off-putting, so ISTJs are a fantastic counterbalance to that trait. This makes them extremely dependable. Others can rely on them to be steadfast, determined, and resolute. They are people you want in your corner to weather the storms of life. Sometimes they can be a bit uncompromising and unswerving in their beliefs and opinions, but they're also people who abide by their own standards and live by their own principles. The thing that makes ISTJs uniquely attractive, I think, is this self-possessed and solid strength, especially when that's combined with the softer side they have towards the people they care about. ESTJs. Action enablers. ESTJs are the masters of getting things done. Such a simple and straightforward notion, but infinitely powerful, especially when contending with the seemingly endless complexity of modern day life. ESTJs can cut through the confusion and the BS with a refreshing clarity when it comes to ploughing forward, organizing your life, and keeping things on track. Although it can sometimes be delivered under the guise of brutal honesty, they are people who care enough to actually be there. They don't shirk their responsibilities or their duty. They are people who actually turn up when it matters. ESTJs are innately direct people who pursue the things they want in life. Because of this hunger to accomplish their goals, they end up helping the people close to them achieve theirs as well. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It makes a big difference. Also, feel free to check out the links down below in the description to the video, which include my individual social media and the Love Who Discord server, which I would highly recommend joining.